Is Firestorm good or not? Is it worth buying? Is it worth playing? I'm going to answer a lot of these questions, hopefully, during this video, because I played 9 hours of the game yesterday, and I have a lot of positive things to say about it, and a few reservations that make me worried. Let's start with the positives, and then I'll move into the negatives at the end of the video, so you guys can get an idea for, what I think about this. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video. I was not paid to make this. They didn't give me a code. This is pretty much my straight opinion. The map is great. It's a huge map, and I love the idea that they start off with a circle already existing, so every time you play, there's a different area that you're forced to exist in. The map is giant. I mean, it just is. So, you'd think that with 64 players maximum, that it would be a little bit dead. I think that the early game is pretty quick, just like every Battle Royale mode, and the end game is actually insane with how many people are there, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the mid game, again, suffers from a little bit of a slow, pace. The vehicles help make up for that because you can traverse the ground pretty quickly. They're loud. They're strong, but they're not too strong. In fact, they did a really good job balancing vehicles. I hate vehicles. I do. I just fucking don't like them. I'm sorry. But they give you so many opportunities to pick up panzers, anti-tank grenades, explosives. Like, you playing solo should probably not even be afraid of a tank, but you as a squad, run to the tank and just try and catch them by surprise, because if every single person hits it with one panzer, that tank's disabled, or probably destroyed if you hit some weak spots. They did a good job with that, and I gotta give them praise. The tanks and the weapons are spread out pretty evenly. They're not all in hot drop zones. Like, when you're playing a Battlefield game, you might have buildings, but you also have little artillery outposts. You have, like, flak cannon areas. You've got I don't know what to call them, like little bunkers. These all have weapons and ammo crates, etc. So, I mean, even in ski lifts and shit, they did a good job spreading out loot so you don't feel like you have to drop in a hot zone, which I think contributes to the slightly less incredibly fast-paced starting that every Battle Royale has, because everybody wants to drop in a city, get the best guns they can, and kill some people. And here it's like, I'll drop a little bit outside the city, get some really good guns, and then go in the city and kill some of the other people. I like that a lot. The graphics are incredible, and I don't think I need to overstate that at all. It's a Battlefield game, and truly, when I was playing on 1440p Ultra, it was well optimized, because this game has been out for like 7 months, and they finally released this, and I mean, they had all that time to work on optimization. It's still Battlefield. It's still going to require a beefy computer, but for me, playing this game really is shocking at how good a Battle Royale can look. I mean, Frostbite engine is great, but when you come from PUBG, when you come from these early access BR games, I mean, hell, even Apex looks gorgeous, and I swear to God, Battlefield just shits on everything. It's great looking, it runs really well for me, and I don't know what else to say. This is truly what makes me have hope for a real AAA Battle Royale game like Battlefield that is a standalone, that's developed from the ground up on an engine, a game engine that is meant to support a game like Battle Royale. And let's talk about Frostbite engine, because we've said for the longest time, hey, this is going to be great because it is built into the engine that you can blow up cover. And I will tell you right now, no other game is going to make you happier to find out somebody's camping in a building than this one. On multiple occasions, we knew with either like a UAV flare, it's not a UAV, but you get what I'm saying, or just by being shot at, that there were enemies camping out in a building. What did we do? Our team of 4 all took out our rockets, we all took out grenades, and we bombarded this building, and every single time that we got shot at from somebody who was in a building, we won that fight handily, because you're stuck in there, and we're outside surrounding your building, shooting rockets and grenades in there. You're done for. It is so satisfying to get rid of people who are hiding in buildings and not have to play that weird staircase game like, are they on the stairs? No. Are they in the closet? No. Fuck it, dude. I'm just gonna throw shit in there, blow it all up, and then we'll see you when you fall out, jump out, or die. That is truly what makes this, in my opinion, a cut above the other Battle Royale games. It allows for different play styles. I Molotov'd a barn, and the barn caught fire. And I was like, all right, well, that makes me pretty happy. So I love the idea that you can do all this stuff that is traditional to Battlefield, and they just took it and transferred it into a BR mode. They tried to do a little, make things a little different, so they have capture points, kind of like Conquest, where you can go and get supply drops. By capturing the point, the point pops, it drops a whole bunch of really good stuff. You can solo cap, it goes faster with a squad. People see that it's being capped on their map. They can run towards you to try and get that loot. It adds dynamic to the mid-game. That is super important because every single BR game, like I've said, has struggled with people getting into a ton of gunfights in the beginning, spending the middle game looting up, and then only fighting an end game. This allows you to say, hey, I'm going to prioritize getting some better loot at the risk of making myself well known, and also for people that like slaying out, hey, I'm going to jump on here, and anybody who wants to fight me, let's go. They're scattered around the map. They're random. There are other supply balloons that, you know, are scattered around the map that aren't activated. There's supply drops that come in. You can call in artillery and all this stuff. That's all pretty unique, and I have to say I enjoy it. I don't want to get into the negatives right now, but I do want to mention that artillery and V1 rockets, while rare, make endgame a living hell. They're not fun for me. They're not fun for a lot of people, I imagine, but you know how frustrating it is to be in the end game scenario and somebody calls in a fucking nuke and it just 8 people die. Like, it's nuts. Artillery is so oppressive and strong that if you ever pick it up, just save it for the end. Save it for when you really need it because it's that good. But I'm going to learn to play around it. I'm not ready to say it doesn't have a place in the game because they are hard to find. There's no other game that gives you that, like, I hate using their stupid tagline, only in Battlefield, but it's true. There are a few times in other games where I have oh shit moments like I do in Firestorm and Battlefield. For example, my third game of the day, I was playing solos. I was sitting in a building trying to loot, and I heard somebody outside. So I look out and I shoot someone. And I'm like, oh, nice, got a kill. Second kill of the game. All of a sudden, a fucking Panzer rocket flies through the window I'm next to and flies all the way to the other side of the wall, blowing out the entire backside of the building I'm in. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So I run out the back. The guy shoots another Panzer, blows up the front side of the building, and after that, I shoot the guy who's rocketing. He knew I was in there. He decided to use my tactic, and I narrowly escaped getting hit in the face with a rocket because I was just standing to the side. But that surprise of seeing that rocket fly by or like running around the corner and being face-to-face with the tank is hilarious, and it's great, and it makes really giddy, fun content. Chasing people in helicopters, which they do have like these weird 4-person helicopters, or like shooting these things down while being towed in a flak cannon on the back of a tank. It makes really great content, and it's actually hilarious to be in a vehicle with your friends. And already I'm thinking about all the fun times we had. It was great, and I think the Battle Royale mode really encapsulates the only in Battlefield slogan they always tout, and I fucking hate it. The weapons and the type of weapons, the amount of weapons, they did a good job, very diverse. The weapons each have their own, tier in my mind. The auto shotgun, semi-auto shotgun sucks, but the pump action's a little bit better. You have to make choices. Do I want to use the green version of the M1A1, or do I want to use the blue version of the STG-44, or do I want to use the red version of the Gewehr or something else? I like the way they did it. You don't have to spend time swapping attachments and shit because those are already on the gun, depending on which rarity you have. It kind of frees up some time so you can spend the rest of the time trying to pick up the correct gun because the looting system is so fucking trash, and I will rant about that in a minute here. But all things aside, the weapon stuff, the weapon balance is pretty good. I think the best part about this game is it's the first game in Battle Royale mode history to have a zone that is terrifying. I'm scared of that Firestorm. It destroys everything in its path. It does damage. Pretty high damage, like 4 ticks a second at the early stages and way more later. When you're in there, you're on fire. It's hard to see. Everybody else is on fire. You can't see outside of the storm. Nobody can look inside the storm. It is the first storm I look at and I go, I am not getting caught in that. Somebody else is in there? Good. Fuck them. I'm not running into that storm to finish them off. It is a good barrier. It is a terrifying barrier, and they nailed it. All these stupid transparent zones. Come on, are you fucking kidding me? Battlefield just looked at it and was like, hey, what if we just made the zone actually scary? What if we actually made it a problem? Oh, great, cool. It's great. They did an awesome job. Now that we got all the good things that I liked about the game, let's sit down and talk about the reservations I have. So, biggest one, it's not a free-to-play game. And in an era where free-to-play games are actually dominating, you've got Fortnite, you've got Apex, you've got Ring of Elysium, to name a few. These games are largely free with microtransactions that are supporting them and battle passes as well. You don't have to pay money to play, which means trying it out and playing when your friends are like, hey, dude, you want to just get a couple games in? Yeah, why not? Why not? When the only thing you have to decide is, do I want to spend time downloading and installing this game or not? It means that way more people are going to get in, there's going to be way more people who are trying the game, and potentially a larger player base. This game is not free. It's $30 on sale right now. It's been on sale for like 3 months because EA did not love the sales target, I think, or the sales figures. I think it was like 7 million copies sold. And that means that in order to play this game mode, you need to buy the whole game. Now, somebody's going to argue, hey, that's a good deal. You get the campaign, you get the multiplayer, you get the game. Sure, fine. But we saw this exact thing happen with Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I mean, you can make a great game. You can make a fun game across a bunch of different, game modes. But at the end of the day, you still have to pay money to play it, and that's going to cause problems for people who just want to try something out and aren't sure if they're going to enjoy it or not. So until there's like a free-to-play weekend, and even then, that's not that great, you're going to have problems convincing somebody who's never really been a Battlefield fan to play their Battle Royale mode. The looting system is, without a doubt, the worst looting system I have ever personally tried across any Battle Royale game, and that is not me being, slightly tongue-in-cheek. It is terrible. There's no way they got a QA tester or testers to do this and try it out. When you kill somebody, all the loot drops in a pile on top of each other. Trying to get ammo or weapons that are under each other cause you to just endlessly cycle out the one that you just dropped unless you somehow position your character, look at the corner, and catch one edge of the ammo box that's underneath the M4, or the M1 rather. It's terrible. I don't know how else to explain it, but during my 9 hours, I spent several minutes, and that's not a joke, several minutes trying to equip the 2 weapons that I wanted from one loot pile. Because there's no way to, inventory tab drag. There's no way to prioritize items. It's just whatever's on top. If your teammate is down on a pile and they don't move, you can't revive them because the items are prioritized. It is atrocious, and luckily it is something they can fix pretty easily. Looting is not something that is like a core component of the game that is untouchable, and I expect them to change it. But how this got released is unfathomable. How can you not just make it so all the weapons spread out further? Like, I don't care if I have to take 2 steps to grab a gun. I'd rather do that than spend 35 seconds trying to get the ammo and then getting frustrated and running away. There's ammo pickup bugs. There's bugs when you kill players that look like the player is laying down with a bipod and they stay there. I've shot so many dead bodies of people who are in the crawling animation. Their body is crawling and moving, but they're dead. These are like things that you would assume they would fix, but are, while they are not huge problems, in a game like Battle Royale, where you have to be, careful when you're shooting people, you have to be aware of your surroundings, seeing somebody crawling on the ground that's not actually there is a fucking travesty. Like, you're gonna shoot at them, and then you're gonna be like, wow, now everybody knows where I am. That's great. That sucks. They really need to fix that. It is not good. And then my other huge criticism is not necessarily one that anybody can fix here, but Battlefield and the player base are traditionally players that play slow and calculated. That's the type of game Battlefield is. It is, like I said, erring on the side of realism while not realistic in itself. And it makes it hard for me as a player who enjoys a faster-paced game, especially coming off of like an Apex or a Blackout, to play this game because truly, in the last circle, this might be one of the few games that has a large chunk of players all hiding. I mean it. They're in the grass with ghillie suits. They're they're camouflaged. They're hiding in bushes and stuff. And Call of Duty surprisingly did a pretty decent job of avoiding having everybody laying in the grass, snaking and crawling in the final circle here by not letting you even enter the bushes. Battlefield, not interested in that. The amount of times that I've gotten killed by a team of people with bipods literally in foliage, like in trees that you can't see because they're there, way too many. And while this is a good play style, and people may love it if you are into that, it's a frustrating one for me, who's a casual player, because quite frequently during my 9 hours of playing, I was just killed by people who had one kill. It was me, and it's the end circle, and they probably haven't moved from that. That's a viable thing, a viable strategy. I'm just letting you know that it frustrated me, and I don't know how to fix that at all.